The Liberal government recently introduced their online hate legislation. While diving deep into it, it feels more like the Minority Report. Hello, I'm Adrienne Batra. With me are Brian Lilley and Lorrie Goldstein. Brian, I think our viewers would remember the Minority Report. It was a movie done. Tom Cruise was in it, but it was a science fiction book from 1956 by Philip Dick, and it's all about pre-crime, preventing pre-crime, and going into this online legislation that the Liberals just introduced. There's a portion of it that is trying to prevent pre-crime. What the hell is going on here?
It's if someone is suspected that they might partake in a hate crime, they can be arrested and put under house arrest to stop them from committing the crime. This is flagrantly unconstitutional. There's no way that this would stand. And you know, I actually think that of a few parts of the bill. This is a very problematic bill that the government is going to wrap itself up in the mantle of saying, we are protecting children. Why are you against protecting children from online harm? But you've got the pre-crime stuff. You've got life sentences for hate crimes. That's putting it up there with first-degree murder. Now, unless you commit a hate crime where you kill a bunch of people motivated by hate, I don't see that standing up in court. And it would be absolutely bizarre for that to stand. So there have been some calls to separate the bill out, the portions that deal with protecting kids from sexual exploitation and such, plus all this other stuff, which has nothing to do with protecting kids. Put them out as two bills, debate them, fix them, but this thing, it will not stand if it's passed.
You know, Lorrie, far too often, a lot of these pieces of legislation get presented and they get heralded as, oh, this is great, we're protecting kids. But then you do a deep dive into the details and you find little nuggets like you can be put under house arrest for the thought that there could be a pre-crime in that you may be contemplating or something. This is scary.
Well, this, as Brian said, this was deliberate. It was political. There are aspects of the bill, as you both said, that are legitimate. Things like revenge porn, dealing with that, dealing with child exploitation, child porn, the abuse of children. Those are legitimate. But what they did was what got the headlines, because people, it was released late, people read it, oh, this isn't so bad, it's not as bad. But then when you do a deep dive, as both the Canadian Civil Liberties Association and the Canadian Constitution Federation have done. And remember, those were the two bodies that convinced a federal judge that Justin Trudeau's invocation of the Emergencies Act was an unjustified attack on the rights of Canadians. Yeah. They're saying exactly the same things about this bill. They both go, look, part of it is legitimate, the protection of children. It goes to the point, yet if you really care about that issue, then get that legislation through. There won't be a big fight about it as long as the wording is careful. But the two civil liberties associations say, like, this creation of this digital safety commission, which has the power to make up rules about what constitutes hate crime. These are going to be government appointees making rules, changing them. And as the Canadian Civil Liberties Association says, entitled them to be judge, jury, and executioner.
Yeah.
There's also an expansion of the Canadian Human Rights Code, where the commission can now impose fines of up to $50,000 on people who it says violates the code, based on complaints from people who could be awarded up to $20,000, and in many cases will never have to identify themselves. The civil liberties, the two of them also say this is going to infringe on healthy conversation between young adults under 18 about issues like sexuality. It could impact reporting on these issues. The thing is, it's another assault on civil liberties, and it's hard to, like, I would say to the government, you lost to the CCL and the CCF on your Emergencies Act. You might want to pay attention this time.
Yeah,
that part,
that's
the part
important.
that you mentioned, Lorrie, about the Human Rights Act, that's a return of Section 13, which many of us, all of us on this, I believe, fought against that for years, and it was removed by the Harper government because it was being abused. People were pulling in a ton of money just by making complaints, forcing people to pay huge fines for something that they said, and there was no way to appeal, and so the Harper government removed it. This is putting it back in.
Yeah, the other problem.
Lorrie, last word to you, Lorrie, on this. Go ahead.
Well, the other problem, one of the organizations pointed out, is that the Human Rights Commission has already backed up on these complaints. There's a huge backlog of complaints with the existing legislation. You put this through, you have to have resources to enforce legislation, right? If you don't have the resources, never mind that it's bad legislation. If it gets through, it's just going to create chaos. Because this government it announces things, right? Deliverables. See, we did it. They're going to say, see, we solved it. Exploitation of children, done. It's in that bill. Exploitation of revenge porn, done. It's in that bill. Hate crime, we've dealt with it. They haven't dealt with anything. This isn't a law. And two of the leading expert organizations on civil liberties say the courts are going to strike down huge portions of it. So there you go.
Well, just imagine this, a pre-crime department of the government coming near and coming close to you. Well, let us know what you think in the comments below. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and go to the TorontoSun.com. You're going to find commentary and coverage there you will not find anywhere else.